In 2008, Georgia's foreclosure crisis shattered records. Over 100,000 filings in a single year, with entire communities emptied almost overnight. After the COVID pause, the crisis has returned, but something's changed. Filings surge in places where home prices are rising, and foreclosures now speed from default to auction in months, not years. Why is Georgia's new foreclosure wave breaking the old rules? And who faces the greatest risk this time? In 2008, Georgia's foreclosure filings soared past 100,000, a number that placed the state at the epicenter of the national housing collapse. In Fulton County alone, more than 8,000 homes entered foreclosure that year, with monthly rates in some metro Atlanta neighborhoods climbing as high as 25 per 1,000 households. These weren't just statistics. Entire blocks emptied out, and neighborhoods lost decades of stability in a matter of months. The Georgia Superior Court Clerks Cooperative Authority tracked each new filing, creating a record of loss that stretched from Atlanta's urban core to its farthest suburbs. The crisis cut across owner-occupied homes and investor properties alike, but the hardest-hit areas often overlapped with majority Black neighborhoods and high-renter tracts, where the fallout was swift and unrelenting. This data set a high watermark, one that would shape how every future foreclosure wave in Georgia would be measured. March 2020 brought an abrupt halt to Georgia's foreclosure machinery. Under federal and CDC orders, new filings nearly vanished overnight. For almost 18 months, the state's housing market entered a kind of artificial calm. By the summer of 2020, more than 90,000 Georgia mortgages, over 6% statewide, were in forbearance, protected from foreclosure as the pandemic's economic shock spread. In Fulton, DeKalb, and Gwinnett counties, monthly filings dropped by more than 90% compared to the previous year. The Georgia Superior Court clerks' records from that period show a trickle where there had once been a flood, but this pause did not erase risk. It only deferred it. Every loan in forbearance represented a family or investor awaiting the end of protections. By August 26, 2021, when the moratorium officially expired, a massive backlog had formed. Tens of thousands of homes in limbo, all at once vulnerable to the first wave of new filings that would soon reshape the market again. Foreclosure filings in Georgia are climbing again, with statewide rates up 3% compared to last year. The metro Atlanta area, especially Fulton, DeKalb, and Gwinnett counties, drives much of this increase, reflecting an 11% jump in filings from the previous quarter. Single-family homes make up 3 out of every 4 new foreclosure cases, underscoring how owner-occupied properties remain at the center of the crisis. According to Adam and the Georgia Superior Court clerks' records, the numbers are not isolated to one type of housing or a single region. Instead, the resurgence stretches from urban centers to rural tracts, setting up a complex pattern that demands closer inspection at the neighborhood level. One census tract in eastern DeKalb County, identified as Tract 131-2-101-0401, stands out for a puzzling reason. Over the last year, this neighborhood averaged 11.8 foreclosure filings per 10,000 households each month, more than 50% higher than Georgia's statewide rate. Yet home prices here climbed 4.5%, and unemployment hovered just above the state average. The numbers don't fit the classic foreclosure story of job loss or falling values. Filings are densely clustered among a handful of large mortgage servicers. This pattern raises questions about what's driving distress in places where, by traditional measures, homeowners should be safer. The data point toward forces beyond local economics, setting the stage for a deeper probe into who holds the power over these homes. In Glynn County, the clock from first missed mortgage payment to a foreclosure sale notice now runs faster than ever. A review of court dockets shows the median timeline has dropped to just 163 days, down from 234 days last year, a 30% reduction. This acceleration stands out against the backdrop of new state laws meant to slow the process. Instead, the data points to a system that is moving with unprecedented speed. Clerks process filings in batches, and servicers appear to be pushing cases through with little delay. For many homeowners, the time to react, seek help, or find alternatives is vanishing. The numbers hint at a procedural race that leaves little room for recovery, setting up consequences that reach far beyond the courthouse. In Macon-Bibb County, a single census tract, where more than 70% of residents are Black, logged a foreclosure filing rate nearly double the state average this spring. The numbers alone are staggering, but the reality is more personal. For one longtime owner-occupant, the trouble began just after exiting pandemic forbearance. 30 days after receiving a certified sale notice, her home was auctioned on the courthouse steps, all while property values in the neighborhood continued to climb. Court records show her docket number among dozens processed in a single week, each case moving along the minimum timeline allowed by Georgia law. The speed and concentration of these losses raise questions that data alone cannot answer. A Chatham County renter received an eviction notice less than 2 months after the property changed hands at auction. According to eviction lab records, the filing came within 60 days, leaving little time to prepare. An economist points to servicer-driven timelines. A legal aid attorney warns that rapid evictions are now routine for tenants caught in foreclosure's wake. Today, Georgia's fastest foreclosure windows cut recovery time for struggling families. As filings accelerate, stability hangs by a thread. The next crisis isn't coming. It's already reshaping who gets to call Georgia home.